Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to this Building Sustainable Outreach session. Our session today is all about setting up what we need as a community to better reuse, repurpose, and reinvent outreach materials so that less of us are starting from a blank page, meaning that doing outreach is more accessible to a wider group of people. So my name is Eleanor. I'm here to introduce you to this session, but it's actually been organised by quite a group of people. We have myself, Nick, Marion, Tobias, and Ava, who are all working together on a Network Plus project called Cake. And we have collaborated with Oscar, Andrew, and Stefan, who I believe all know each other through the Society of Research Software Engineering EDIA team. So I just wanted to quickly highlight these two groups as something that might be interesting to this audience before we get started. So, starting with the EDIA group, the society itself has been established to establish a research environment that recognises the vital role of software in research. And then the EDIA working group exists to improve equality, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility in the society and RSE community. Through personal experience of RSE events and other things, hearing about this in the community, they are a really fantastic group. They're very proactive at embedding support into their programs and practices, and they have a great public collection of resources. Generally, a really good example of how EDIA can be treated as a first-class priority. So I recommend checking that webpage out. And next we have Cake. So Cake exists to coordinate knowledge exchange in the digital research infrastructure, community and landscape. So we're bringing together the people, projects and opportunities that are all happening in this super busy landscape. So wanting to act as a central hub to help you find out who's doing what and avoiding missed opportunities that can add value to your work. So we're hoping that we can make activities more visible, solve shared challenges by everybody working together and collaborating, and then helping you get more from your investments. We currently have some open funding calls, applications for our flexible funds, so that you guys can actually do knowledge exchange with each other. So there's an open call for applications to become one of our knowledge exchange fellows, or to apply for a placement and visit opportunity. I highly recommend checking those out. We have a lot of different support options available for all of our funding opportunities. So if you have an idea and you're not really sure how to bring that to life, please get in touch with us to discuss. The Cake website is conveniently quite memorable because it's cake.ac.uk. So if you head over there, we have a lot of information available, as well as all of the contact information to get in touch with us. So, as part of our work with Cake, one of the motivations is to help people exchange knowledge with each other, discuss ideas, and sort of develop things so that we're not starting from a blank page, reinventing the wheel, and we're sort of tackling things as a group. I think this session really falls under that. So, outreach as a whole concept needs to engage with a broad and diverse audience. It can be from, for our field, for example, researchers, students who are tiny in primary school, all the way through to postgrad students. We also have professionals, policymakers, funders, the general public. It's an incredibly broad and diverse remit. Each of these groups brings varying levels of familiarity, interest, and connection to the concepts that we're trying to communicate. So this means that we need a really broad range of outreach approaches that can be tailored to all of these different backgrounds and knowledge levels. Luckily, we have a very creative and already quite diverse outreach ecosystem that has many different activities that we can use that have already been proven to be impactful. However, these are naturally normally developed by individual centres to meet a specific goal or context, maybe such as hosting a local science fair or running a workshop for a specific purpose. As these are specifically designed, it can be quite difficult for people who are new to research, or if you want to develop a new idea, or wanting to teach a new learning objective to take existing materials and make it work for you and your specific context that you want to use them for. So we wanted to explore some strategies for reusing, repurposing, and reinventing existing materials to make outreach more accessible. What do we mean by this, though? So I thought I'd start off by going through each of the concepts and giving you sort of what our definition of these are, and what we think the purpose and examples that are relevant might be. So starting with reuse, the purpose of this is to remove that barrier to get started. So you're using an existing activity that works for your purpose already, you're saving the time and resources, and you're not just lowering the barrier, you are removing it because you can basically completely replicate this activity in your context. So something like completely minimal changes, focusing on consistency of something that's worked well before and it still works for your purpose. So an example, I think, is to reuse a science fair activity from last year at another event. And what we want to capture today is what might you need to do this about all of these activities? What information do you need to pick it up and reuse it, so therefore guarantee that it will be effective? And then on the next level up, we have repurpose. So here we're taking an activity that already exists, but adapting it and changing it to suit what we want to use it for. So this is extending the life of an activity that has worked in the past, but also can cover the concept of not starting from scratch, despite the perfect activity not already existing for you. This corresponds to kind of a moderate level of change, so you might need to make sure that the content is still relevant and still impactful, thinking about the differences in the audiences or the contexts. What needs to change to make sure they still understand and engage with this content? So the example I've put here is a high school workshop, and we want to adapt it to an online session for adult learners. And then one suggestion would be to simplify some bits, expand other bits, and change the examples maybe. Finally, we have Reinvent. So this is a little bit more of a abstract concept, I guess, because it's taking existing materials, but having your own idea and then using those existing materials to inspire you to create a new activity that works. So you maybe have a different learning objective, you may have a new topic or something, but you aren't sure what works for successful research. So the example here is maybe a webinar series that you then want to turn into a hands-on activity. So you may have heard about a fun game that already exists for an outreach material. You really like it, but you need to totally reinvent it to match your new learning objective. So it's something that does require significant changes, but hopefully gets rid of that blank page barrier issue. A little harder to think about, but I think this is something that's also really valuable for complete beginners to outreach. So, with that introduction to our concept, we want to turn it all over to you. We want you to put this into practice, taking an existing outreach activity, getting creative with it to see how it can be reused, repurposed, or reinvented for different situations, contexts, something that's applicable to what you guys might like to do with outreach in the future. But first, we have three lovely speakers. They're going to be presenting their own outreach activities. So they each have 3 minutes to tell us a little bit about their activities and why they were developed in the first place. So I'll stop sharing my screen. Oops. How do I do that? There we go. So that Karina can share her screen to present her outreach activity.
So is it correct or?
Yes, I can see it. It looks good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So first I would like to thank Elana for inviting me because I might be the only outside UK speaker here. So my name is Karina. I'm from IT for Innovations, National Supercomputing Center in the Czech Republic. We are part of a university and I would like to present one activity that we have created as a series of materials and activities that we produce with the goal to showcase high performance computing and also motivate students and young visitors to our center to study STEM fields. And we wanted to use something that will be really hands-on, engaging, and it will demonstrate some AI topic to which is practically available. This is we have a project for this, so we were very lucky to get funding. So this was already second edition. We produce comics. There is also a computer game for parallel programming. and other materials. So this particular activity was designed for a workshop. It's a hands-on activity that we use. Our age groups that we target are between 10 to 18. This is the time when children in the Czech Republic usually are deciding what the future career will be. If we catch them later, they might already be economists or something else. So, or managers, basically. Everybody wants to be a manager. We had hired an artist because we had the comics as part of that project as well. And this particular activity is Find Waldo style challenge. So we have these big pictures. I have put it on the slide, but they are A3 size. We have several versions where somewhere in the picture is a hidden key, a key for opening the doors. We didn't know what other object would be. It's somewhere there. You might start searching, but I use the most easiest version of it. And we have also pre-trained and fine-tuned the model that can search for that key in the picture for us. And as part of the workshop, we usually explain and run everything. There is the whole application is available on our GitHub. So if the group is older students, then they can also practice with us. They can try. They can reuse the activity. We have also prepared it in a way that the teachers can basically cover the same within their classes. And we have already did a lot of reuse of this activity. So we also use it at the science fair where we basically when the audience comes, and that can be even children from the kindergarten who usually are very happy to search for things in a picture. And for them, we just explain the basics that basically AI can find it for them, that it doesn't have to be that complicated. So the activity is available on the project website. So you have the QR code to also our Facebook, Instagram website, where the whole material can be downloaded, including the workshop presentation. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them or later in the breakout rooms.
Thank you very much, Karina. That was great. Next up, we have Darren White talking about parallel sorting. So if you could unshare your screen and then Darren can share his.
Works. Okay, can you see the screen? Is it loading?
Is loading. Yes, looks good.
Cool. So, hello, I'm Darren. I'm at EPCC with Eleanor. This is an outreach event that we've been. This is an activity we take to a lot of outreach events. It's kind of our bread and butter for some of the big events we do. So there's one called Big Bang Fair here in the UK in Birmingham. It's primarily aimed at kind of school-age kids, but it can be used for a big wide range from kind of primary school children all the way up to adults, depending on what they understand. So how does it work? Yeah, there we go. So this is an old photo of the setup. So we have 4 buckets, and you see in the front, in the middle, there's a bucket full of bean bags that are all different colors. They match the buckets that are underneath the basketball hoops. You give someone 30 seconds to throw one-handed, one beanbag at a time into the right colored buckets. And then we do that with multiples of different people, and you can show off kind of like a scaling relationship, which I'll get to in a minute. The idea is to kind of show that, how you can work together to get more process more information with more workers. So just a kind of ways that we've tweaked it in the past. So post-COVID, bean bags keep a lot of kind of made out of fabric, not great. So we switched to plastic balls, which are easier to clean. But we've kind of constantly changing it. One of the most recent things we've done is switched out the plastic balls for socks because they are different patterns. So that helps with accessibility. So it's quite a versatile demonstration that we can use to explain kind of HPC concepts to a wide range of people. What we do over the course of events that we take these to is we end up with a graph like this. So you can see a line which kind of shows the kind of ideal scaling. So for people that are quite new to HPC concepts that don't understand what a cluster or a supercomputer is, that's where you start off. You say, one worker will get through roughly on average 20 items sorted. So 2 you would expect 40, 3 you would get 60, etc., etc. What you then can go into a bit more detail is say, actually, when you get a lot of people working together at the same time, things don't seem to scale. You can ask the questions of why that is, what it means, how they would fix things, and it kind of leans into the, if you have these bigger and bigger systems, you can end up with lots of contention and how best to split up your problem across the resources you have. So that's kind of all the demonstration is for. We've done this many times. I think this has existed before I started doing outreach at EPCC, so it's quite tried and tested. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what people come up with for reinventing and reusing this.
Thank you very much. I always love that graph. I think it's really visual. I like it. Next up, we have Will Fernell talking about Plant Me a Plant activity.
Hello, I don't have any slides. I'm gonna do a Blue Peter and get something I made earlier. If it loads, there we go. But I still need to be able to see the screen. So sorry. So hello, I'm Will. I'm a systems administrator at the Science and Technology Facilities Council. And this is one of the activities that we run with younger students to teach them about programming. So I am now a robot. I am going to obey all the instructions given to me by the children. And they need to tell me, I've got some dirt, I've got a pot, I've got a lovely plant made out of pipe cleaners, how to trim the plant and plant it in our plant pot and then water it with some water I've got over here. This is great. And it's for teaching students about programming and the importance of giving clear instructions. Because the first thing they will say is put the dirt in the plant pot. Okay, I'm a robot. I'm going to do that. Okay, now we need to water the. So I'm just going to spill some water here because we need to water the dirt. They're shouting out, "Oh, now you need to cut the plant." So I'm going to do that right up here. It's great fun. You can make a real mess. You can get and follow their instructions exactly. And by following their instructions exactly, you will see that, or they will see indeed, that they need to be really precise with the instructions that they need to give. So they need to say, open the bag, put your hand in the bag, bring out a small amount of dirt, place it into the pot. I've already cut the plant earlier, but pop the plant into the pot, make a little hole for it, and then water the plant afterwards like that. So something like that instead. And so it's great in a classroom with young children to get them all to shout out all the different ideas they have. It was actually difficult doing it one time because they were so well behaved. They didn't want to shout things out, so we had to tell them to shout things out and then tell them, okay, now you need to be like you were doing before and putting your hands up and asking to say one thing at a time. And throughout the activity, which doesn't last very long, 10 or 15 minutes or so, they learn the importance of when we're programming computers or Will the robot, that they need to give clear instructions for how so the computer can the computer programs will work correctly.
Cool. Thank you very much. That was great. I love that it was a visual representation of what people usually do. Well done, yes. Thank you very much to all of our speakers. That is all of them. If I share this again quickly, move on. There we go. So now we're going to get you guys into breakout groups. So what we want you to do while you're in your breakout groups is to pick an activity, one of the three that we've just shown, and then discuss how you might reuse, repurpose, and reinvent these ideas.